Now let's understand package management in Linux, which is very important when working on Ubuntu servers. In Ubuntu, we use something called APT, which stands for Advanced Package Tool. You can think of APT like a Linux app store, but instead of clicking buttons, we use commands to install any packages. So basically, it helps us to install, update, and manage software directly from the terminal. Now let's look at some important commands. So first command you can see is sudo apt update. So this command refreshes the package list. It tells your system what latest software versions are available. Next, sudo apt upgrade. This updates all the installed packages in your system to their latest versions. And finally, sudo apt install and the name of the package. So this is used to install any new software which you want to install on your system. Now let's see some practical examples. So this is my system. So first of all, I'm going to refresh the package list. Simply you have to fire this command sudo apt update. So it has updated the package list. Now let me upgrade all the installed packages to my system to their latest version. You have to fire sudo apt upgrade. Yes. So this command will take some time here. That's done. Now let me show you a few commands which can be used to install any specific package. Like if you want to install Python 3, so the command is sudo apt install and let's say Python 3. So it is saying that Python 3 is already installed to my system. Let me try to install Nginx. Sudo apt install Nginx. Yes. So this has been installed on your system. And if you want to check the status of any service of a package, you have to use systemctl command. Sudo systemctl status Nginx. So we have just installed Nginx. So after the installation of Nginx, you can see the service of Nginx is in a running state. So one of the biggest advantages of Linux is that we can install tools directly from the terminal. We do not need to go to the websites, download files, or click next like in Windows. Everything is done using simple commands. So in real world development, we commonly install tools like Python, Git, and Docker. And few examples are there. So without wasting time, let me quickly move towards my terminal. And here let me try to install Git. So the command is sudo apt install Git. So this command will download and install Git automatically. And also it will take care of any dependencies required. So it is saying that this package is already installed on the system. So if you want to verify like which version of Git is installed, simply you have to fire git space --version. So the Git version which is installed on my system is 2.43.0. Now let me try to install Docker. So the command is sudo apt install docker.io. So Linux makes software installation fast, simple, and efficient. And this is exactly how developers set up servers in real world projects. So it has been installed. Let me cross check the version. Docker --version. Now let's understand what environment variables are. Environment variables are key value pairs that store important information in the system. You can think of them like global settings that both the system and applications can use. For example, we use them to store API keys, application settings, system paths. Now, instead of writing these values directly in code, we store them as environment variables. This helps us to keep sensitive data secure, avoid hard coding in code, and make applications flexible. For example, in an AI project, we can store an API key as an environment variable and use it securely inside our application. So in simple words, environment variables help us manage configuration in a clean and secure way. So let's do a hands-on lab on environment variable. So first of all, I'm going to show you a command which is going to list you the existing variables on your system. So when you install an operating system, so by default, the system created so many variables. So that could be your environment variables or system variables. So the command is print env. So I've got a big output. So this command displays all environment variables or system variables available in the system. So this is one thing. Now the next is how you can create a variable. So variable is a key pair value. So first you have to define the name of the variable. So A is the name of my variable, and let me give the value of A is 10. So what I have done, I have created a variable whose name is A and the value of variable A is 10. How to print the value of a variable? You have to use echo space and $A. It has printed value 10 or whatever the value you have set it for variable A. Let me set another variable B is equal to 20 and let me check its output. Let me display its value. So the command is echo $B. So these are the variables which has been set for this shell. But suppose from this shell I have executed a script. So obviously a new process will be initiated. And if I want to inherit these variables into the shell, then I have to export those variables. So let me create a script. So this is going to be a bash shell script, and let me put D is equal to 10, E is equal to 40. Okay, and echo $D, echo $E, echo $A, and echo $B. So in the script you can see I have defined only two variables, that is variable D and E, and you can see we are printing four variables. In the script we have not mentioned variable A and variable C. Let me execute and see whether it is getting the value of variable A and B. So first let me make it executable. Now I'm going to execute this. So I have got the output of variable D and E. Let me open the script. But in the script you can see it is also trying to print the value of variable A and B. So what is the reason why it has not printed the value of A and B? The reason is very simple. You have set the variable value for this shell, or we can say for this process, and when we executed a script, a new process has been initiated. And if you want that the variable that you have created on this shell, it should inherit with any scripts that is initiated from this bash shell, then you have to export those variables. So for that, you have to simply use export A is equal to 10, export B is equal to 20. Okay, so if I'll fire echo $A, it is going to print the value. And also if I'm going to execute the script, it will take those variables. Here you can see. So this is the simple concept of environment variables. So I was telling you the concept of environment variable. So we understood how we can define the variables, and if you want to make those variables inherit with the shell, suppose in this shell you have created a script, and whatever the variables you have defined in your shell, you want those variables should go with the script that you have created, then you have to make it an environment variable. Let me again fire this command, print env, and here in this command you can see the value of A and B is reflecting. So it has become the environment variable. But here you need to understand one thing, that these variables is only meant for this shell. Suppose I have relogged into the system with the same user, and again I am going to execute the script, then it is not going to take those values. Let me show you. Let me take a duplicate session. Okay, and here we have this script. I'm going to execute. This time it has not taken those variables, and on the same terminal, if I'll execute, I will get the value of all the variables. And if I'll fire this command, print env, here the value of A and B is not reflecting here. So if you want to make it permanent, like for any shell, you want those environment variables should be permanent, then you have to put the value of these values in .bash rc file. So for every user, there are some files, that is .brc or .profile. So just open this file and put these variables. And then whenever you are going to log into the system using Ubuntu user, it will take those variables. So friend, that's all for this lecture. In the next lecture, I will continue from here and we'll discuss a new topic.